Pop quiz. You've got 40 bucks burning a hole in your pocket. How do you spend it? Do you go buy a shirt? Maybe go to dinner? How about a handful of coffees? If you ask me, I think the best way to spend 40 bucks is on this guy right here. This is the Proto X from Estes, and this thing is freaking awesome. This little guy has been a riot ever since I took it out of the box. And it's been a great thing to experience with my son too, kind of getting him back into RC flight. So let me show it to you. I'll take it out of the box, show everything about it, and fly it around a bit for you. So the very first thing that I latch onto is how tiny the little controller is. And I'm normally a pincher, but this one actually fares better with thumbing, although I find I kind of do a little bit of both. It does have trim adjustment too, which is actually quite cool for an aircraft this size. So let me get this thing out of the box, and I can't express how tiny this thing feels in the hand. But it is so fun. It's literally almost indestructible because it has zero mass. But you'll see here the design is really quite unique. It's basically the integrated PC board is the frame, and there's little motors that clip in. It's got a little body that clips in. Really a interesting minimalistic design that works out to be really cool. And I mean, just look at it in the hand. It's super tiny. And as a matter of fact, you know, here it is. You know, the best thing I can show you, here's my cell phone, right? It's an iPhone 5, and you can just see how small it is in comparison to my iPhone. All right, so let's look at what else comes in the box. So we have the USB charge cable, which is basically required to charge the multi-rotor itself. And then also in the box are 4 replacement props, 2 black props and 2 gray props. Also, there is an instruction sheet. There's basically, I think, 4 sheets with the different languages, but it's a single page front and back for instructions. And you don't really need a lot of instruction because it's pretty simple. Matter of fact, you've probably seen everything you need to know in this video. Now, the body is held on just by these 4 clips on the arms. And I'm going to go ahead and take it off just to look underneath there at the battery. But it's really not technically a user replaceable battery, although it is held in with a convenient removable connector. So I imagine you could replace it pretty easy. It's a 100 milliamp 1S battery, and it looks to be either double stick taped or glued in. I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to pull it off. The battery is actually quite critical for the center of gravity for the quadcopter, since its entire mass is made up by the battery. As I put this back on, you may notice that the motors are held in similarly with plastic clips, and so actually pretty easily replaceable should you need to replace a motor. Now, looking at the back of the quadcopter, you can see where you would plug it in to charge, and there's actually a surface mount capacitor that is used to establish polarity, which I thought was really ingenious, taking advantage of the electronics that are already on the board to force you to put it in the right position. So once you plug that in to the quadcopter, plug the other side into your computer, and the red light will come on indicating that it's charging. While that's charging, let's put the batteries into our controller. So you need a little Phillips head screwdriver, pop the back off, and then it takes 2 AAA batteries. And these did not come with the unit, so you need to buy those yourself. Alrighty, and so just a quick power on to make sure we've got power, and we do. The red light flashes when it hasn't been bound yet to the Proto X. Alright, so when your light has gone off your USB connector, you can unplug the Proto X, turn on your transmitter, and I'm a creature of habit, transmitter always comes on first, and then just a single power switch on the bottom. Now you want to get that flat on the table as you power it on so they can get a good reference for stabilization. Although, I'll admit, pretty much every time I've ever flown it, I've yet to have a problem with it getting a reference for self-level. Alright, we're up and running. As you can see, the red LEDs indicate the back of the quadcopter and blue LEDs indicate the front. And those become very valuable for orientation reference, even in daylight. At night, they're fantastic, but even in the daylight, they're very helpful. And I'm just going to buzz this around. Took it into the den for a quick test flight. This is actually the maiden flight, by the way, so Just really checking it out. Really easy to get a feel for the controls. It can be a little bit twitchy, just because the controls are so tiny. It takes you a little while to get used to that. I wasn't really sure if I was going to like the tiny little stock transmitter that comes with it, but it turns out I really do like it, actually. I know it's possible to bind this to some different transmitters. There's a Traxxas transmitter and a HubSand transmitter that you can bind to that will actually give you access to dual rates. You can turn on and off the LEDs, a little bit more functionality, which I'm surprised doesn't come with it by default, but that's beside the point. But it turns out I like having this little transmitter, and it keeps me from having to worry about lugging around a larger one and having a channel set up for it or what have you. So it's just really cool. I don't even know how to explain it other than that. So even this little maiden flight was a hoot. And I'll tell you, there is ability to get to high rates, but I don't have that ability right now with the equipment I possess, and I'm not really bothered by it. So as for flight times, I think we're getting about 5 minutes out of this, maybe a little bit more. It charges up pretty quick. I don't remember exactly how long, but 15, 20 minutes maybe. And then you get about 5 minutes. And the 5 minutes goes by really fast because it's just so much fun. You can tell when it's time to start thinking about landing. The LEDs will start to flash, and I think I'll do that here in the video for you. Yeah, there you go. When they start to flash, I have found you can get maybe another minute or two out of it before low voltage cutoff hits. And then here's just another look at them flashing. So I tried landing right when they start flashing, and I feel like I get shortchanged. So I'd almost rather wait until low voltage cutoff on it. So I was pretty excited to get a chance to show my son the new toy, and we had a lot of fun playing around that first night. So this is just some random footage of that night, but we were just horsing around and starting to get really comfortable with the fact that it isn't going to bite you. And I was even getting adventurous and trying to land it on the back of his hat on the bill. He said it would give him chills every time it flew by.
Oh, yeah! That gives me chills.
This thing really is just a hoot. It's been a lot of fun. So now he's going to get an opportunity to fly it for his first time. And actually, it's the first time he's actually controlled anything for quite a while. He's flown some of my airplanes up in like high circle patterns, but he doesn't have a whole lot of experience flying multi-rotors or anything small and up close. So, but he got the knack for it really quick, got a good sense of the controls, and just more than anything, we just had fun.
Whoa!
It does have a tendency to stuff itself in the ceiling if you're not careful.
I'm not gonna. Awesome. Okay, turn. Ready? Ow! Ow!
I will say pretty much everybody I've shown this to has really enjoyed it, and the first question I get is, how much does it cost and where do I get it? So that tells you how much fun everybody's having with it.
Nice. 1, 2, 3.
I'm just so amazed at how quickly my son has been able to pick this thing up and fly it fairly well, other than a crash into the big screen, fairly well. And it wasn't very long, and we decided to go ahead and set up an obstacle course in the living room, much to my wife's dismay. But it was a simple course. Basically, we had a takeoff and landing point. I made a little loop that you had to go through. It was actually double loop through pool noodles that you had to fly through. You had to fly back around and touch a couch cushion and then go land. So it was a lot of fun and super easy to set up something in the living room.
Did you just go through there? That's close enough. Land it.
So another thing I found super enjoyable was playing catch with myself, sort of like a boomerang, where I would toss it, let it fly away, and then bring it back and catch it. And literally I would just do that for an entire battery, just playing around. So totally fun. Anyway, that's it. I just wanted to give you an overview of the Estes Proto X. I've seen these around the local hobby shops and online, and I finally had an opportunity to get a hold of one and thought, I have to share this because this is pretty awesome. So thanks for watching. That's it for this video. Hit the thumbs up if you like this, and I'll catch you on the next one.